And we're joined now by the chairman of the Senate Budget Committee, Democrat Kent Conrad. Senator, thank you for coming this morning. What's your response to what Senator McCain just said? Because he made some pretty legitimate points, quite frankly.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, so much of this is eye of the beholder, but let me be very clear. It is absolutely essential for this country that we have a significant economic recovery package. This economy is falling away from us. You saw increase in joblessness, 600,000 people last month. The economy is contracting at a rate of 4%. We think that will accelerate. We think in this quarter the economy will be reduced by perhaps as much as 5%. That means millions of additional Americans will lose their jobs if we fail to act and act effectively.
You may well be one of those appointed to go to conference on this when the Senate and the House try to reconcile the differences in the two bills. Clearly, members of the Senate of your own party are going to try to put some things back in this bill. Like, for one thing, I would guess some of this aid that's going to states, some of this $20 billion that's been set aside for schools and school construction. How's that going to go? What are you going to have to do there to get something? Do you think, I guess I would ask you this question, you think you can get any Republican support? There was no Republican support in the House.
I think it is possible, although I think most of them have made a political calculation that it's better to be in opposition. And you can see that on a political basis because, look, this economy is in desperately serious shape. It is going to get worse before it gets better, so they will be able to argue this package was ineffective. But here's the reality, the economic reality. If there is a failure to give a significant boost to this economy, this crisis will only deepen and become far more serious. Look, the fiscal system alone is going to require hundreds of billions of dollars more. The best estimates before the Budget Committee is that there have been in the range of $4 trillion in losses across the globe in terms of the fiscal system. And unless that is dealt with and dealt with promptly and dealt with in a way that is fully effective, we could enter a far more serious downturn. A deflationary spiral could begin, like we saw in the Great Depression. That would be a disaster.
Senator McCain makes the point that some of this is not going to stimulate the economy. And basically what he's saying, and these are my words, not his, that some of this is just the pet projects that Democrats have been trying to write into law for a long, long time. And while they may be good things, they will not help get this economy going again. How do you respond to those allegations?
Senator Lindsey Graham and I offered an amendment to take out some of these things that have less stimulative effect in favor of addressing the housing crisis, which must be addressed because unless we have a healthy housing market and housing and fiscal situation is stabilized, we can't have recovery. But look, in economic terms, stimulus is stimulus. If you put more money into the economy to offset this falling demand, remember what's happening here. The economy is contracting, and consumers don't have the money to put in to offset those losses. Companies don't. The only one that does is the taxpayer of the United States. We are going to have to come forward and put up money to offset this falling demand. If we don't, we could enter a deflationary spiral that would be devastating.
Are you willing right now, and I know you don't want to negotiate before the negotiations start, but will Senate delegates to the conference committee, will they be willing to put perhaps, or at least listen to House Democrats who say, let's put some of these things back in that you took out?
Yes, and look, I was part of the group that performed some of this surgery. We reduced this package by $107 billion. I had amendments to reallocate money to take it out of lower priority areas, put it in higher priority areas like the housing crisis. I'm very much hopeful that in this conference committee to work out the differences between the House and the Senate that we can improve it. 80% of this package will be effective in the first 2 years. That means 20% will not. I think we got to focus like that.
You think that people will see an impact in this immediately?
Well, some of the things you will see very quickly. And that's really a key to stimulus. Most of the economists have said what is absolutely critical is that this be temporary in nature so that we get money into the economic bloodstream, but at the same time we don't add to the long-term deficit and debt. That is, you don't take steps that have permanent effect. Unfortunately, there are items still here that have long-range effect well beyond the time that we expect this downturn to continue. So I think we could improve this package.
All right.